So the countdown will be in 3, 2, 1, and go. First of all, have you already seen the run, or is this the first time?
I actually haven't. Eraser verified it, so I'm going
Yeah,
into this blindly.
alright. If I find damage boost, I'll blame Eraser for verifying it.
Yeah.
Or at least humility at the speed with which a world can be
I guess
So
there's
this is
not
transformed
much
the
to talk
into a
start.
hell.
right, yeah.
So
So
no mistake.
at the start, you will
From that
probably do
moment,
the
I thought
segmented
of
war run to
everything
save
I
3 seconds.
The honor and glory I would bring my
Obviously
son by
not.
fighting like a warrior in my first battle.
Would be fun if I did it. I mean, I was so lucky in this run that maybe even that would work.
Right, but to be fair, a really good run in the major categories of this game require a lot of luck. So Zipless requires the most luck getting a good run, I feel like, and NMG and any person I feel like are somewhat tied. But
Many men
if
that day
like
sought
without
the
a good
honor
day,
and
even if
glory
you're a
of
really
battle,
good player,
but their king might
there's
say to them,
little
as
chance of you
Tocaloni said to Rustam,
getting a good time.
"You are the
Yeah,
noblest
It
of
just
my
has to
I,
line up.
I did Zipless run yesterday, and yeah, the luck in Zipless, I mean, you need to be quite lucky to get a decent run of it, because the tricks are way harder and yeah,
For
just
sure, and also some of them are enemy dependent.
yeah.
So
I mean, I didn't go for those because they're a bit too hard for me yet to do, but they seem
right, yeah,
heavy
yeah,
RNG.
yeah.
So the start is just trying to roll as much as possible, wall run when possible, and just doing the optimal movement.
Yeah, getting the max
Especially.
speed out of all of it. There's not
Yeah.
much going on trick wise, or not much going on skip wise. Of course, there's a lot of strategy involved already.
I usually already roll here, like I do 5 rolls or something. Not
Okay.
running. I wonder if it's faster. But what I tend to do is I roll into enemy and then I roll again, but instead of roll I get jump, so
Yeah, that's
just
what I figured. Especially with enemies around, it's a bit
yeah,
dangerous to do.
that's why I stopped doing that.
Okay.
Shall I continue my story from here the next time we're interrupted?
A good first split.
Yeah. 239. Can't get it better.
And there it lay, just out of reach.
So it's yeah,
The
it's
dagger
like
of
256
There
cutscene
was
here.
a treasure
I still
island.
remember when sub 3
Pride is a
getting that
trophy of
cutscene
our
was
victory.
considered good,
If
like
I could
3 years ago or
only
so.
get there.
I'm a bit disappointed if it's not 57 when I enter the cutscene.
Right, yeah. Okay, time for the first
Try or
big trick, which of course is easy.
3. It's not even a trick. No, it's actually quite hard. Thank God it's at start. I mean, it's not hard, but getting in quickly and
Yeah,
consistently it's
exactly.
hard.
That's the point. A lot of tricks are not difficult to get per se, but if you have to do it in a speedy manner, the difficulty spikes. That's the thing about this run. There are very little really difficult tricks, but if you want to do it in a world record run manner, slow, very little setup, just fast execution, then it's a whole different layer of difficulty. Okay, time for first fight skip. Ah, wrong category. No.
But this is the easiest fight, but for me it's quite annoying because I
Each time I
tend to
stopped,
roll all
they
over the
rose to
enemies.
fight again.
I mean, all around the enemies, not going over them.
Okay, I see.
I mean, you don't lose that much time, but it's start of the run, you want to get the mood to be good, not bad. And then
Yeah, of course.
sometimes it gets ruined by first fight.
So actually the task that was made of this game, which, well, it wasn't ever finished because of emulation issues, but when the test came here, this fight got ridiculously optimized, like double torpedoes all over and enemy manipulation and so on. So it can... I'm interested how this will play out in segmented. Because in the zipless segmented run, this fight was not done, obviously, so...
Yeah,
really looking forward to fight optimizations.
good luck to anyone who's going to the first fight. I already tried a few times to get for torpedo to get 2 enemies down, but I usually just miss. Not really
Yeah,
worth it.
it's really hard to control RTA.
I'll start the story from here next time.
Also, I don't know if a lot of people know that, but my binds for A is jump, and when you enter the save, if you hold A, you will skip the first cutscene, and then you can just spam enter to quickly save.
Yeah,
Who would
exactly.
not be driven mad by horrors such as I have lived? But I assure you, every word
Yeah,
is
actually,
true.
I think that it was discovered last year only that you can buffer cutscenes in principle, and then we discovered more and more that you can also buffer some inputs like jumping up ledges and so on. It's pretty cool. Like very tiny optimizations, of course, but really satisfying to do
Yeah, and convenient.
because you know you can't do it faster.
Or had my senses given way under the burden of horrors too great to bear?
And it's just very convenient to just hold A in a lot of
Either
places,
way,
or
I could not rest
uh,
until I had
I
found
mean,
her again.
jump or drop.
Yeah. Yes, Matt, I want to say that as well. It's a shame they only really went after that in this game.
I mean, it works to some kind of degree. Like, I think you have to like jump on ledge and then press A or something. I mean, jump. There's like, I don't know.
It works partially, but it's especially for cutscenes. To be fair, that's a whole different issue of not being able to skip cutscenes in the other games.
Yeah. Oh, here I'll do something different.
Very, very nice slow war on there.
Slow war run.
Low.
Oh,
The
low,
lowest
yeah.
possible war run to get there.
Yeah. Because I mean, as soon as you hit the opposite side, you know that you will have enough height to grab the
Yeah.
upper.
Yeah, exactly.
No need to go for max wall run. I did, however, try a few times to go for like max wall run so that I land on top of it, but just doesn't seem that
Yeah, no.
much better. If it's better at all.
I didn't even see it. What time did you enter the cutscene? Do you remember?
No. I think it was like 7:53 maybe? I'm not entirely sure. That's not the point where I usually check
could
that.
be. Yeah. It's also one of the points of the NMG run where I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, probably 2 years ago, when the first sub 8 start of the cutscene happened there. And that was thought to be insane, and now it's even like 5 seconds lower than that.
I wonder if 740x something is possible. I guess it is, if like in segmented for sure.
Oh yeah, in segmented we'll get it for sure, yeah. Yeah, I think you cancelled your role there with the first person. That's not allowed, sorry.
RIP. By the way, I learned that from your zipless video or run. That movement where you wall run the wall and then just spam
that
jump.
one, yeah.
It's
I'm not
very
even sure if-
satisfying.
Yeah, that's the case. I'm not sure if it's faster really, but it's so cool to do that I never cared.
Yeah.
And did it anyways.
Yep. um, the trick that I just did
Oh, very,
skips the
very
cutscene,
nice. Yeah.
and it's so free and consistent that I have no idea why people go for some first-person thing there. I think I failed this trick twice so far, going the way I did now. And it's just super convenient. Camera is in the right spot. You just kind of press down a tiny bit to the left.
Did you do it with keyboard or just
No,
analog stick?
analog stick.
Okay.
And it's the second run so far in my NMG runs that I did 10-0 entering the cutscene, which is pretty nice.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
usually
pretty
the point.
good.
Yeah. This is usually the point where I check my time, because I have some
Okay.
points in the game when I check.
Yeah. It's actually interesting. Like everybody has those points, but usually they are, well, aside from the splits, of course.
Yeah.
They're usually totally different.
That's it! One crank turns the platform. The other one raises and lowers it.
Those spots actually tend to change from time to time depending. Like if I do new run, I'll recheck my run and see what time I got at specific point. Even though there are splits, but I want to see like in longer splits how I perform at a certain
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
It's very convenient to know. This puzzle very interesting.
I'm trying to remember when that was only like 2 or 3 months ago, right? The thing with the rewind at the end of the puzzle.
Yep.
When that was like it was known for some time that weird things can happen there, but the real causality was only figured out recently.
Yep. I
So
barely
3
started running, I think. No,
times.
I actually was running for like a month probably. Who actually figured the skip, or not skip, but
Yeah,
save 3
I'm
seconds?
trying to remember, but I don't
Bring 'em up to the top
know anymore.
and lower
Sorry, whomever
them
we cannot credit here right now.
Yep.
Your services are appreciated, of course.
So here I did small rewind so that I get 3 seconds less in cutscene. So I mean that I can actually move a bit quicker than usually,
You could do it.
and saves 3 seconds. Very convenient.
Yeah.
There's only
It's actually really weird. It doesn't make any sense. It just works consistently, so we take it.
I mean a lot of tricks don't make sense, but
That's true, but that one particularly doesn't.
true.
Like, why would rewinding shorten the cutscene by 3 seconds?
Those accursed demons right.
What's even funnier that making short rewind sometimes you get like super long rewind even though you just like tapped your controller. Sometimes you get like just tiny rewind.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know.
Yeah, that's also the rewind inconsistency is also the reason why rewind tricks are not, or one of the reasons why rewind tricks are not consistent. But that's a whole different topic to discuss. Probably not fitting here.
Palace's defenses
Nice
have a
early
twisted
cycling.
logic of their own. They
I
can
mean,
be circumvented by using this
I don't
method
honestly I don't know when was the last time I failed it. Like as long as you drop from ladder and you just roll towards stairs, it's
by
nothing
setting in
special,
motion such a
honestly.
deadly
Yeah,
system
yeah.
of traps.
What can happen? The enemy can roll either in your way or in the camera's way, screw you up. But that's that doesn't happen as often.
Yeah. Will he do big puncher?
Obviously.
Easy trick.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Thanks. It's like the third or fourth run that I got it first try. And it was like super quick setup.
Yeah, I was actually a few days ago. I was thinking about the segmented run here as well, how it will be. Because whoever will do the segment will have to enter this area, just not set it up at all, and just have a go at the trigger, and it has to work. So that will require more than a few attempts. Depending on where the segment starts as well. Like if
Yeah.
it's 3 minutes of gameplay before that, we might have to rethink
Yeah.
that.
That was my big question there. Like, will there be puzzle with this segment or there won't be puzzle? That's two different stories. Because I'm not that familiar with segmented runs. Like, I don't know when you can like change or swap players. Is it like every cutscene or something?
In principle, whenever there's a consistent transition point, so visually and in terms of the prince's position, for example. So
Uh-huh.
fully pulling a lever is a consistent transition point where a segment could be started or split.
But the cutscene where Prince would roll in, but wouldn't get into like specific point after the cutscene, you can't switch.
No, you can't.
All right, got it.
I mean, you could in theory, but
Yeah.
it's just a very unclean
Yeah,
point. Yes, that's a good point. It's all about the community. We've always wanted to have a run that looks as natural as possible, and with this game, it's somewhat easy to achieve that.
yeah.
Of course, in Portal, you do like weird quick saves every 5 frames or something, or whatever.
Help me.
Okay, Farah losing half her health already.
Yeah.
Great start.
Beautiful. That's why I went for the red enemy in front of Farah. So, how I take this fight is, if there's blue enemy and red enemy, I always power attack blue enemy first and then just
Yeah, exactly.
retrieve the red enemy. That's like the easy, I mean, that's like the best way. But I never like power attack only one person. I mean, I always want to have least enemies standing. Because the more enemies standing, more they get in your way, the less likely they will hit you. And hitting you means losing HP. And from that, I need to drink, so it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that strategy is pretty good, like the first blue and then red, because even if a blue enemy blocks you, which is somewhat likely to happen, it's, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20%, kind of hard to tell. Even when that happens, you still have a backup. You could go for another enemy.
Yep.
Because in this fight, you really want to go for consistency,
I'm sorry.
Why?
as in
I know
consistently
what it
quick
feels to lose a father.
ending this fight.
Yeah, indeed. I did one tiny mistake with an enemy that I retrieved that actually hit me. I normally know that that is very likely to hit you, so I tend to go a bit further away from him and then retrieve enemy. This time he did a double attack, which actually puts him even a bit further than normally, so that's why he hit me.
Yeah.
But happens. And one more thing, actually this will be seen in elevator fight. Normally when I fight, I tend to put away my sword after I knock 2 enemies down, or when they're
I'll
like,
cover you.
Please don't.
I don't
You're
want to
liable hit me.
retrieve while moving or while I'm close to another enemy, because this game tends to go different direction than the analog stick. When you try to retrieve someone, instead you will freeze someone, and this ruins the fight.
Yeah,
or
it's the beauty
gameplay.
of the auto aim system.
Yeah.
Of this game.
Alright, here I never wall run immediately, because if I do that I can hit blades if I do it too quickly. That's why I usually just roll and then wall run when there's like gap. That's the first wall run I do, and then after that you don't have to worry. You can be as quick as possible.
Yeah. So actually, the saw blades have a really weird activation trigger geometry-wise. It doesn't really line up with the platform. So if you're approaching it directly, the saws will trigger at a different time as compared to if you wall run towards the first saws. Yeah, so that's why they're taking a direct path there. As Yaka said, is the best option you have. It's the fastest as well because it's the direct path, and we're in Euclidean space, so direct path is the fastest, the shortest.
All right.
Triangle inequality, people.
Do that.
Stay there.
I can reach this one.
Here with this lever, I just recently started going for the quick drop down. Normally I didn't went for it.
Oh, after the cutscene, you mean? Yeah.
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 If you drop down before the trap like does the thing, then you can catch the next cycle for the next trap so that you can like wall run. I'll say which trap in the moment when I reach to that point.
Yeah.
Are you all right? I heard strange noises.
No
Alright, it's the
permanent
trap
damage, thank
now.
you.
So the trap hits before I land, which gives me 3-second window to wall run, which is very nice.
I've got
Saves like 3 seconds probably.
Yeah, actually, back when we found this thing at the start of Warehouse where you like first person, not glitch, but kind of bug out the cutscene so you can walk in the cutscene, get closer to the gate already, and that essentially enables you to catch the fast cycle in the first place. It's not required, but it makes it easier.
Alright.
If you can walk already in that cutscene where Farah goes through the crack and everything.
By the way,
In
for
fact-
the jump
yeah.
on the fence, I use mouse to set up. It's way more convenient, faster, just consistency wise it's better. I saw some people struggle with analog stick. Might try mouse there. Also something to say, I use my D-pad buttons for keyboard input. It's just convenient so that I don't have to like use keyboard mostly.
Yeah, yeah.
There's actually only one button I use on keyboard in terms of movement, and it's the slow walking. So that's used once in a run.
Didn't get the war in the cutscene.
Yeah, so sad.
Yeah, that's actually pretty difficult, especially if you're just learning it, because it's so counterintuitive where you have to go.
Yeah.
It's just relative direction. It's really weird.
It feels like you need to go back and tiny bit to the left, but what I found it's better to just go down, like fully down. I mean, it could be just me, but that's how I found it to be semi-consistent. But obviously I failed in run, because why not? And by the way, Smet, I'm using Xbox One controller. This fight, normally I never retrieve two hammer guys like that with slow motion, because normally what I'd do is like walk to one guy and he would hammer the other one, and then I would just like retrieve, which makes fight a bit quicker. But at the end of the day, this was still good RNG.
Yeah, and it also was very convenient in terms of the slow-mo tanks.
Yep.
Because Yaku got it one later, because of the enemy in that fight. He didn't retrieve because he got hit by that.
For Bird
Actually also-
here,
yeah.
go ahead.
Now it's actually also a good point that having a consistent route for the slow motion tanks is pretty difficult in practice. Like, it doesn't really work out just because it's so easy to have the game steal a retrieve from you by getting hit, especially during that fight.
Yeah. And
It's
so
hard to plan.
far, do you every fight I retrieved every enemy. I didn't freeze any single enemy, right? Um,
Yes. Yeah.
make sure to count, I mean, not to count, but throughout the game, because I kind of had problem in one specific point. I didn't get Mega Freeze quick enough, and I have no idea why.
Okay.
It's very funny. Maybe I miscounted somewhere, but normally you're like, either you're forced to take fight or you don't fight at all. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm always glad when I'm only like 5 seconds from best segment here, because it's not the easiest segment.
Yeah, it's in particular, it's not the easiest segment to be consistently fast at. From experience, even with a segmented run, um,
If you
the
have
zipless
believed
segmented
the
run where I
rest of my
grinded the
tale
segment,
until now, perhaps you will
and
also believe me when I tell you that
it's so
as we
hard.
made our way
Or
through the moonlit ruins,
I should put it
I began
differently.
to feel strangely
It's
drawn to the
rather
darkness.
rare
My
that you
reason
stay
for
within a
believing was
5-second
she had
interval
full
of
promise to
your
me,
best segment here
yet she had
on this
proven
split.
herself a loyal companion.
Not even 10 seconds. Like, it can feel like it was a very good segment, and yet you lose like 12 seconds on best or
Like
something.
me,
Yep.
flesh and
It's
blood.
really psychologically weird. It's
I can't reach it. Wonderful.
Also, that was a prime example of a very good scarab fight.
Stand on that pressure plate, will you?
It was actually, yeah.
I don't know. Can't you crawl through a crack or something?
Hitting 2 barrels here is so satisfying, because when I started NMG runs, I could never get it. But the key is just to roll late, and after cutscene, move tiny bit to the left and then hit.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Oh, didn't even walk
Uh,
around the corner. Just so sad.
so sad. But
Actually, I
that
will not stand for this. No, joke.
that's one of the hardest or most precise tricks for me, and I can do it 5 runs in a row. But then there will be one run when I'll hit. I mean, well, I will get hit, and I will need to rewind 3 times, and basically run is over.
Yeah.
And then the next run, I'm thinking about previous run, and I'm just done.
Yeah.
I can't pass it, so
Yeah,
I
as
stop.
soon as you overthink that trick, you lose. You have to do it by feeling. Otherwise, you have no chance.
Also,
But
this
that's like
bird.
2 seconds of catching the earlier cycle. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Also, the bird. I always take hit from that bird, because she will always hit me. And by the way, funny.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Funny.
It's a classic.
That's why I like to hold deep pad directions on poles and so on, because they will always work. But with analog sticks, sometimes like the angle, you may think that you're pointing in the direction where Prince needs to jump,
Yeah.
but
that
it
can
goes
happen,
differently. This trick is so free with keyboard input. The jump on the
yeah.
palm
What are you
tree.
holding? Is it just
It's
left up?
I do left, and then I go up a few taps so that I line myself with the like pointing edge of the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
And then you jump.
So I had always had the pointing edge Q as well, but on analog stick, going straight left, of course, is difficult.
Yeah,
So I can imagine with keyboard that's not as hard then.
it's free, literally.
The baths.
Also, I didn't YOLO bats here. Entering the cutscene, I could hear Farah's bow being very close to me, so I entered the cutscene without looking if she's behind me.
Yeah. Ah, finally somebody who uses slow-mo here.
I mean, it's free again with slow motion. You just trust your reflexes. As soon as Prince goes down just a tiny bit on that stair, you just start wall running. Very nicely.
You know, everybody always is like, no, with slow-mo it's literally more difficult. I'm like, no, it's not. Stop.
Yeah. I mean, there's actually a setup for no slow motion. Like you go to the last stair, like at the very end, and you just wall run. It's free as well.
Yeah.
It might be a tiny bit slower though. I do that technique when I fail the slow motion, if I ever fail. Oh, and here I got stuck at enemy, and I have feeling that you need to do this area as quickly as possible. And when I got stuck at that enemy, I was like, yeah, GG. But somehow Run is alive, which is very nice.
Getting stuck there shouldn't really matter because there the previous area is already deloaded. So Farah cannot be influenced anymore. At least that's what I believe we found back when we investigated this. But I also know that you invested quite some time into that. So,
Yeah.
it's just my perspective on this.
I mean, she doesn't really move after you do the torque, I think. I kind of forgot, but it's, I don't know, just random area, an annoying area, really. Just pray that you get it, and that's it.
I'll wait for the enemy spawner or see.
Yeah. And I go into corner, I draw sword out, so if my prince auto-targets enemy, then it means that I have to wait a tiny bit longer.
Yeah.
Very sloppy setup for war run here. And
Where's Farah anyways?
when it's
Think you're
Farah.
game over. Ah, that's sad there. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, you need.
I mean, you don't have to turn around. It can work without, but
I think the main reason it
safer to
failed,
do.
it was because there was no, like, in the direction that I was pointing, Prince in the, okay, so in direction that Pet went where Prince was looking, there was no cliff or no need for him to jump.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's like the main reason it failed. Just sad, because that movement is really sweet.
There's a ledge right below.
New strat here as well. Well, semi-new. 2 months old or something.
But I'm pretty sure I saw this clip. I mean, someone hitting Farah in a very old video of SOT. Not sure though.
Look, a crack.
Oh yeah, that could be. And I was referring to somebody. I don't know who it was. Maybe you know who said that.
Vainu.
Shouldn't this route be faster?
Yeah, Vainu was like,
Was
why don't
Vin,
you
okay.
guys just hit him 3 times? I mean, her 3 times.
Here I am.
And everyone was like, oh, fuck.
Don't step off that switch.
And then later on, I actually found out if, so in bats, if you rewind at any point, you game over after
Yes.
after doing the torque. So what I
Yeah.
found out, if you rewind before entering the cutscene for the seconds forward, Farah will actually load normally, but this means that she has to follow you into ancient ruins. So I don't like doing
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so the rewind kind of fixes her in a way, and usually that's not beneficial.
Yeah.
Because the game then learns that she's not supposed to be there. Oh, second enemy you didn't get in the run.
Second?
Yeah. Well, the first one in at that fight and the second one right there. Your retrieve got interrupted.
I'm going in.
Okay, so I get retrieves interrupted
A
when I
soldier's mess
like
hall.
retrieve, so that
Smell of food
counts
still
like not
wafted from the
retrieving an
kitchen.
enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
Scant hours
Oh,
ago, these
I
tables had been
learn
filled with men,
something new every time.
joking in camaraderie over their evening meal.
I actually had no idea
Just as my
for
father's
that.
men do
Yeah, that's
back
what I
home in
was
Sarraj,
referring to
at
before.
ease because they
Oh,
felt
alright.
themselves
That's
safe within
the reason why
castle
you're.
walls,
It's
no
hard
enemy
to
to
plan
fear.
your slow motion route.
Oh, okay.
Help me.
I okay, for some reason I didn't know that. I did, however, know, or I don't know how consistent that is, but sometimes prints will like do the retrieving animation, you will get the sound and everything, but you won't retrieve enemy. And when I was exploring these bugs, I could actually keep getting the counter for rewinds, but I wouldn't retrieve the enemy. I don't know how this is actually in the actual run, if you know by any chance.
Sorry, I was mesmerized by the fact that he almost ran out too far.
Please, please. I was so confused here. I was like, is this run dead because of the stupidest mistake ever? Oh
Very
my
nice.
god. I was like, will this work? Did I already fucked it up? I mean, I didn't know. Was the first time I ran too far. Oh my god.
Yeah, sorry,
Funny
what we
game.
were asking about before I
So,
um
retrieving an enemy,
yeah.
but you get animation, you get sound, but enemy is still there. So it kind of is like failing a retrieve, but you kind of still retrieved. And do you know if it counts as like retrieving
No, that
an
doesn't
enemy?
count. No.
Because I was like, actually exploring this once on stream, um, and I was like retrieving an enemy all the time. I mean, I couldn't retrieve him, but I was just like retrieving him like a tiny bit from it, and my counter actually went up.
Did it.
Oh, that's what. Sorry, I thought you meant something different. Thought you meant when the prince wants to retrieve, like he does, his weird backflip towards an enemy
Yeah,
to retrieve him, but there's another enemy in his way because then the sound plays and everything, but
no,
he's
like
too far away, and then that okay. So you're talking about an actual bug where the enemies
yeah.
unretrievable. Okay, that I don't know. That might very well be.
Okay, here on the bridge, I tend to do alternative view and just move or spread enemies across so that Farah has clear path. Very useful to do. The longer you're on the bridge, the more enemies will teleport towards you, so the more they will spread around that bridge.
I'll just wait for you here then.
Or not the bridge, but area after bridge.
Yeah, usually it's a gamble whether Farah follows or not if you're too quick and you're not checking for her. And you
I
really
mean,
want her to follow in here.
yeah. I mean, that's why I use alternative view, and as soon as she gets out the bridge, I kinda can go for it already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now pull the lever.
But it's still very risky. She can get stuck with one enemy like forever. Very weird.
Yeah, her pathfinding is suboptimal, to put it nicely. Ah, the classic looking at her as it has to be. Speaking of pathfinding, it's actually fantastic codings like climb up, go from A to B in a straight line, climb up, straight line. They put zero effort into that. They put more effort into this cutscene than to Farah's pathfinding. I'm absolutely convinced.
At least they tried.
That's true.
Hang on. I'm pulling mine.
At least the cutscene doesn't randomly break in some Arabian Nights manner when Prince gets stuck in cutscenes or something. Ah, no direct jump. Sad.
Sad, yeah.
I'm coming.
this gate. That'll really be
Lately, at this point where she climbs under the door and press the button, I would try to time my roll with her pressing or stepping on buttons so that I would roll into next area. But
Right, yeah.
it's quite hard to get timing right.
Yeah, yeah.
Just doesn't work.
Yeah, and if you're too late, you will even lose time because you didn't make
Yeah.
up the distance. So
Yep, that's the why I didn't
it's
go for it.
pretty risky, yeah. Not even skipping the cutscene with the absolutely inconsistent wall jump method to get up.
I
onto
don't
the
even know
stones
how
there.
to do it. I think I
Don't
saw a
even
video
try, it's
once.
bullshit.
Well, I'm not trying anymore. I'm not.
Try not to take too long.
My safety here. Left and up,
up
and when
here.
camera switches, you jump.
Down below, there's a great open balcony. Come on.
Okay, I mean,
I'll
I
show
guess
you.
that also works.
easy for you to say.
The amount of times when I wanted to do a quick jump and failed
Stay
is
there. I'll come down to you.
just too big. I'm very likely to fail that.
Yeah.
So I
It's,
just
it's,
do
it's
the
also
same.
interesting to see how different players take different strats safe, while the other one just wings them. For example, that jump, like not that jump, but the one we were talking about, the safety jump. I would always do directly because that's how I've always done it.
I can't jump.
And then, for example, the jump into Palace defense,
I
I've
know
always
where I
taken very safely, and you
I
just
know where I am.
go for it
This
because it's
gate
free.
leads to the
Also, very
palace.
very nice drop
Do
here.
you think you could find your way there?
Of course, finding my way to the baths from here should be easy.
Good.
I actually prefer to like roll from the wall to grab the lower wall
Right. Yeah.
because it's quicker, I
Just
guess.
ask the first sand
At
creeper
least
I ran
feels
into.
quicker. I
Could you
didn't
direct
time
me
it.
to the baths, please? Well, thank you. Don't mention it. I used to be a bath attendant back when I was alive.
Yeah. Also, that walking on the wall, like around the area, I still remember the first time I did that without stopping at all, just in one fluent motion, because I got used to the camera changes and everything. That's so incredibly satisfying to do.
Well, it stops now.
I encourage
Now
everybody
I shall
to
have to toe the line.
invest way too much time into perfectioning that trick.
And lose 90% of runs. Good luck.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you meant please.
By the way, I almost hit cutscene with that jump on beam, but whatever.
Oh, really? It didn't look like it.
A
I mean,
lovely wash, and a
if I went a bit
fragrant
more
meal.
right, don't you think I would like hit it?
Stop talking to yourself.
I feel like the cutscene is more lenient than some runners make it to be, but
I mean, I never really think about that cutscene. I just do it.
yeah, same. Also, shoutouts to Esco for that strat right there. I only learned that when we made this simple segmented run. Yeah. Esco was like that. Yeah, it's cool, but on that beam that was rather slow. I'm like, what do you mean? What else would you do there? And then he said, oh, you can just slash before the bats even attack. Oh. It's actually incredible how Esco has all the knowledge on every category of this game ever. He's a walking dictionary. Oh, hey, Razor isn't even here to appreciate that.
I broke the pot. He was actually, he started talking in caves. He was like, it's gonna be sad to see this run die in Hall of Courtyard. And I'm like, oh my god, I need to break pot now. To the jinx my run.
Okay, like actually lower the video volume a bit. So I'm not confusing you with the other you.
Also, the pad in caves is really nice.
Oh yeah, that I can imagine. Never really tried with D-pad or keyboard for that matter, but um, I can't imagine. Although I think that's what Esk and some other people said. For some of these like stalactites, you have to somewhat learn what direction to jump in with keyboard. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Like with
Yeah,
some of them, it's a bit unintuitive, but
yeah, for maybe
um,
like 2 or 1.
yeah.
It's
But
like
at least
that.
it's consistent then. So
Yeah. Once you learn the direction combination, you just do it. And it's very good because you know that you won't fail it, so you're not under stress.
yeah.
Like I know that some people, if they don't have rewinds and they are at that point, they will be like, I need to go very slow and careful, turn around, then jump. But yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
Also, Smith, if you're still here, could you tell us if the video volume is low enough, just so the Yaka from the past is not disturbing what we're saying here?
Yaka from the past.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Are you playing 2 videos?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm having the one on YouTube. I guess you're having the raw one without your mic audio.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Thanks.
okay. Well, sorry for
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why No, wait. Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah.
Okay, let
Even
me
on
just
YouTube, there's with voice. I thought I posted the normal one on YouTube without my voice. The Yaka from the
yeah
past.
yeah just muted the video for me. Now it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
So this
Uh,
bit is this segment rather, is very technical, but also very satisfying to do if you can do it
uh,
properly.
don't. Yeah, I failed it.
Up until there, it was pretty good.
I did so many mistakes in this area. It seems like when I'm on good run, I tend to fail underground for some reason. And even that last jump, oh my god, I had to do extra swing.
Yeah, but so that's where the psychological side of speedrunning kicks in.
Yep.
Where if you're on good pace, you like even if you speedrun for years, you will never stay calm on a good pace. Assuming it's a game you care about running, it's not just some meme game you're doing a second run of
Yep.
or so. And it's you can't really shrug it off. You have to just learn to live with it and deal with it.
Also no
At least
quick,
that's how it is from my perspective.
also no quick cycle or no quick rope swing there.
Ah, shame.
I guess I had to feed the RNG, you know, I had to fail something to make the other main skips tricks work.
Possibly, yeah.
Oof.
Is that you?
Here I am. Farah! Stay there. I'll come to you. Farah! Stay there. I'll come to you. Can you hear me?
Not really much going until fight. Did I go for jump here? Oh my god, embarrassing.
Speaking of Ember, no, that can happen. That gap can be pretty nasty. Want to jump over?
What took you so long?
Okay, harem fight. Here we go.
Help me.
Very nice.
I hit Farah nicely. And I hit Farah again. Now comes the third wave, where you slow-mo and jump over the red enemies. Very convenient technique.
Wait, I know these female enemies. They are from Forgotten Sands Wii. Why do I feel like being in pain?
Also, I totally didn't forget this is the last wave. I would normally already
right,
move to
yeah.
the statue,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, I'm just late. And then I don't see enemy, but enemy is like right next to me. Funny.
Well, waiting for. Done.
Yeah, it's actually rather dangerous to not move towards the statue when the last phase starts, or the last wave starts rather, because then the chance is higher that an enemy will get stuck at fair and you can't do the cutscene skip Yaka did here.
I'm afraid. What if I get into trouble?
Well, even if you go to the statue early, enemy still can spawn at fair and get stuck, but it's just a way lower chance of that happening.
And I think like the faster you kill all the enemies near you at statue, the better or the higher the chance that enemy will come to you, because if you take too long for 2 or 3 enemies that are like near you on statue,
Yeah.
then the less
Then one
enemy
of
will
them
be attacked by Farah.
lose interest in you
Yeah.
and teleport to Farah.
And
Or has
also,
a chance of doing so.
very bad split, or just losing 17 seconds. But honestly, this is like one of the longer splits, so
Yeah, it's just the nature of a 7-minute split. Even more so in this game. That just mistakes really accumulate and sum up.
So normally in this fight, I take the 5th guy with freeze, but this time I actually saw that my moons were not there where they should be. So
And now you even know why. It's
Yeah.
educational stream.
very nice to know now that I'm
You will
kinda
never
done.
run it again.
Maybe I should do another run and save like 5 seconds.
Yeah, nice thing with that mirror Yaka did there, you can just pull it backwards and the prince will automatically stop as soon as he gets to the stairs. Because you cannot pull mirrors upstairs.
Yep.
And that
Plus
position is
it's-
perfect for the light to get to the next mirror, like perfectly.
Did you actually do this in your NMG runs? I probably ripped this strat from you. Most likely.
Which strat? Pulling
pulling
All the way
the
to the
mirrors
stairs, or-
all the way to the stairs and like just
Yeah.
optimal movement there.
Yeah. I mean, not sure if you ripped it from me. It's just something
No,
I
I'm-
always did.
Yeah, then I did. Oh, nice wall run.
That one can actually be very painful if you don't recognize quickly enough that you war in horizontally, and you jump off.
Oh my god, that
Then
would be
you-
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Nice trick here.
Wait,
Oh, very nice optimization there. Yeah.
Does that actually save time? I mean, must save? Kinda
Yeah,
feels
sure it
like
does.
you
Yeah.
save.
Yeah.
Also, it's cool because you slow time and I don't
where
know.
is that glow
Yeah.
coming from?
Also, nice meme
That's a
jump
clever
here.
use of slow-mo to get rid of the rewind timer only. Ah. Cool.
Sometimes when you like stuck at object, Prince would just jump somewhere else.
Listen to
Don't know
this.
Yeah, it's weird geometry of
Of
those
what
pillars.
use is reason against the power of love?
Perfect
Love is
bats.
life. So if you want to live,
That's also rather
die in
recent as
love.
well, like right? That
Die
threat
in
of
love,
torpedoing then 2 hits, and
alive.
usually the bats are done
What's
then.
that supposed
Well,
to mean?
I
It's
think
not
I ripped
known
that
for
strat
that
from
long.
you
If you want to be useful,
as well.
try finding a book that'll tell us how to get out of here.
But even I adapted that somewhat recently.
She thinks this is a
It's
game.
relative, but
Oh, alright.
it's not a thing for that long. Maybe it was Smith or Curly. I don't know. I think it was one of the newer people who first came up with that. Farah
Also,
not
I don't
dying
know.
here.
Yeah, I don't know when was the last time that Farah died there. Can't remember. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
same
just like-
actually. That happened. That used to happen so often to me a few years ago, and at some point, just Farah always behaved.
I think it has something to do how quick you do the area. So the less she
Probably.
moves, the better.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually, if something happens to, like something bad happens to you for a long time, and then suddenly it stops forever, that's a sign that speed plays into it.
Because normally, if I do torpedo first try, I do swing backward and then jump forward. I actually didn't have her die yet.
Holding B. Ah, yes.
Hmm.
So satisfying to see. Even not even doing it, but just seeing it on the input viewer. It's perfect.
Why did you put your sword away?
As soon as you tried to attack and the first torpedo didn't hit, I was a bit worried if you would make the door.
I actually know this from experience that if you go for the third time with torque, it's done. But
Yeah.
going with two, you still have time, so I didn't panic at all.
Fair enough.
Oh, actually, now watch my input. So A is for jump, X is for attack, and Y is to retrieve. And
Yeah.
watch what happens. Oh, yes, I just jumped over him. What? Okay, game.
I
And I'll-
got displaced by the blue guy.
I mean, he
That's
should at least
unfortunate.
hit or something.
That's true.
Just very weird. It's a nice game. I hate when you teleport to enemy that's not yet spawned.
Yeah.
Just annoying.
Oh, at least double torpedo.
Yeah.
To make up for it.
Yeah, this fight was very awful. Like, but the Mega Freeze wasn't bad, honestly. I got quite a few
It
enemies.
was solid. It was solid for sure.
There should be a way to make this thing go up. See if you can find a switch.
What makes you think?
Also, I'm very glad you're not doing this weird strat of like jumping to the pillar and then jumping into the safe. Like some runners are doing that, and it's just so awfully slow. Pains me every time seeing it.
I actually do that sometimes.
Shall I pull it?
Not yet.
Just for the
Wait till
memes.
I'm on the platform.
Because it kind of looks scary, but it's not. And it's so weird. Why
Are
do
you
you
on the
jump
platform yet?
in save
Not
point,
yet.
not on the
Wait till I'm
next
on the platform.
always? I don't know. Just weird.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I'm very nervous at this point. So what happens is
Here I come.
Okay.
Here I come.
Wait!
fucking
Don't you need to
horrible.
open the
Beautiful.
gate?
Like under pressure, those small things just happen. It's so hard. Like you can't get rid of them.
Yeah, at those points, you become overly conscious of your surroundings, of the run of everything, and then you can potentially fail the easiest things, like just
Yeah.
casual gameplay.
Come on!
It's just how it is.
You can self-destruct easily.
Look, a crack!
Yeah.
Wait, let's see where this corridor goes.
On top of the game,
Alright, you can take the
destroying
track.
yourself.
Yeah.
See you soon!
It's
Also,
additional
long
pain.
segment, only plus 9 seconds. I think that's
Try
More than
pulling
good.
that lever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
here. Actually, in cutscene, you can spam the reset camera. So
Yeah.
by the end, you point forward. Very cool thing.
Do you think
I'm not sure if that's possible
Go on,
anywhere
try.
else.
What's the worst
From the
that
top
can
of my
happen?
mind. If so, it's a very rare thing.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, I only needed it here. That's why I one time just spammed reset, and I saw okay, it resets even like before the cutscene is end. So why not?
Yeah.
I'll meet you on the other side of that gate.
No cutscene
you
skip
be
here.
careful.
It was tempting,
No.
but I was like, I'll just waste time. I just move on. The next area will be painful already. And no roll in cutscene, so bad. Okay.
Here I am! I can't open the gate!
Very nice.
Thanks. That was just perfect.
I'm out!
I actually saw your strat, like you go to the left wall, you kinda like tap or run and jump, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's more of a setup to not have the enemies distract you. It doesn't even work that well. So, if somebody's learning this trick from scratch, I wouldn't advise to do that. It was just some placebo for me.
Yeah. Also, I failed to get on fence once, but I did manage to get the quick drop.
Yeah, where you kind of slide off with the
Yeah.
fall damage.
Very cool. And just don't go for it. I mean, I didn't go for it, I just got it. Also here, very funny thing. I'm trying to see where Farah is. Farah, where are you? Oh yeah, she's right there. What? Just lost few seconds because of that.
Look! That's the bridge to the Tower of Dawn.
But I really didn't want to risk for like... I'll just waste 5 seconds, why not? Really. I don't want to run in some 50-second split.
Yeah, sure. Didn't warn over.
Yes.
Sad,
I got it
but it's
once
fine.
so far in run. Oh my
I
god,
got
I
it a
didn't get
few
jump.
times. It's really hard to like plan for it. Either it happens or it doesn't. Like it's not even in the zipless segmented run, I believe. I don't think Chris got it there. We took the attempt anyways because his door clip was so insanely quick that we didn't care about the like 2 lost seconds on the fence.
Oh, Mega Freeze in prison. totally not RNG.
All right, I was about to ask how you like the rewind trick here, but I guess that's
My
wrong
father's
category.
palace was a prison much like this. I had never set foot inside.
Yesterday when I was
Now
learning
here I
zipless
was,
and that trick,
myself a prisoner,
I was
seeking
just
refuge.
hanging off that plate or like platform,
Yeah.
and the raider kept spamming get up, and I'm like thinking, why would you get up? You just need to like drop down. And I'm like, okay, I need to see your run, or your as Toca's run, and
Yeah.
I was like, ah, all right, now I get it. Very funny. Nice momentum on lever.
Yeah, that's very nice when it happens. Also, it's interesting how over the years prison has undergone, or the route changes it has, even across the categories. Like before the rewind trick in zipless, before the rewind trick through the wall onto the door, there was some very weird torpedo rewind trick to get down early. Didn't even save that much time. It was just cool to do. And then Crim came along, was like, hey, you can rewind trick here. Oh, okay. Save 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Enemy position looks good. Okay, very nice.
The more I practice that Mega Freeze, the less likely I'll get it.
That's
just
also
gotta
interesting
pretend you-
for a trick, yeah.
You just gotta pretend that you know that trick.
It was the first
That-
time I
that
had
you can
seen
do it.
such devices at close range, close enough to touch. Where were the men whose trade it had
Will I
It's
damage
always a
this
bit.
here?
It's always a bit dodgy.
extract the answer
Um,
their king sought?
Although if
There
you
was one. In the
like
end,
if you
they
do it
met the
with
same
first
fate
person,
as
and
victims.
I didn't see if
Guards and
you
prisoners
used
made
your
equal
D-pad
by the sands
or
of
Yeah.
analog
time.
stick for
I-
determining where to jump,
Yeah,
where to attack.
I actually just tap forward and tap attack. Because when you're in first
Okay.
person, if you hold forward, you actually zoom out of your first person, and that's why people sometimes fail it. You gotta do
Yeah.
it quickly.
Yeah.
Because if you do first person, you just hold forward and then press attack, well, you're already out of first person. The direction is going differently.
Yeah.
So,
Also, I want to say that your luck on the bats is all the luck you had in life, and it's used up just for that scene right now.
alright.
It will. You will never have luck in life again. What the fuck was that?
That's actually my new method. You just buffer the inputs. It works for me 90% of the time, I guess. Plus,
Fair enough.
no
As long as
aggro
it
here.
works. Oh, very cool. But it's still not consistent for you, right? It's still a matter of luck whether this happens, or is-
With bats or
no, the enemy de-aggro here.
yeah, it's like you said in your video.
Okay.
It just happens. I do
Yeah.
have like a placebo thing on the last letter where you have to like wait so the prince reaches the top. I wait like 200 of a second or something. Like I just wait tiny bit longer than normally.
Okay. You know, I thought maybe for some reason you found a way to make this consistent because you got it in this run, but it was
I mean-
just luck,
Just luck.
placebo luck.
Yep. This split honestly can go better. Like the aggro there is so nice. You get box, you move box without enemy teleporting and you just
Yeah.
so much time save.
Yeah, it's not only convenience, but also the time save. Because intuitively you would say, well, I'll just maneuver around the enemies, but on average you will just lose time because you have to dodge them, sometimes have to let go of the box, take way longer routes, and so on. It's and
Normally,
that's also the reason why I hate that the trick is luck.
yeah.
It shouldn't be luck, but it is, sadly.
So with moving box, normally if there are like 3 enemies next to your box, what the best thing is just knock enemies down, else you're not getting anywhere most
Yeah.
of the time. That's how I feel about it.
If my typing was loud, then I'm sorry. The bane of having a Mac keyboard.
Counter dagger. Main dagger counter.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice game. Obviously, I wanted to do that. Oh, and almost again. Just beautiful.
Yeah, there you could actually see really well. Like the retrieve started, the enemy was gone, but the slow-mo tank counter didn't go up.
Yep. Now that I focused and that you told me, I actually saw it. Rip. And again, I get very lucky because there's no way to teleport to the right enemy.
Yeah, I
And
was about to
boom,
say.
he just joins the party.
Oh wow.
I mean, this split is already bad because I freeze the enemy and I'm just wasting time.
Yeah.
And then,
It's like what, 3 seconds or so? 2-3 seconds?
yeah, probably. And plus, I didn't retrieve one guy. I mean, depends how
Also,
you
yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. Like, I know I'm still in front by quite a big margin. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Positive
right.
vibes
Yeah.
or something. Also, do you have like a placement for that wall run? Because sometimes it can fail.
The hourglass
I
is
do, yeah. It's
nearby.
not really
I can
precise.
feel
It's just standing away a bit from the wall.
I can't explain.
Whatever a bit means. It's like
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. I would just do it by feeling it.
Yeah.
I very rarely get the meme wall run.
What I actually do is, you know, if you turn on anti-analyzing like all the way up, you get less boxy kind of at the edges of objects. And
Yeah.
at that point, I would like aim directly into that wall so that there's no, there's like one clean line. And if there's like one clean line, I can just wall run. If if I see that there's like, you know, lines, like multiple lines, even though it should be just one because, you know, anti-analyzing is messing it up or something, then
Yeah.
I know that I'll probably fail it. Just a placebo thing probably, but it works for me like 99% of the time.
Why did I trust you?
Well, where's the ice cream?
Yeah.
Didn't you trust me? Oh,
Sorry.
This cutscene is actually pretty nice to like refill your
hold my
bottle.
hand. Don't let go.
Very nice for
Or
a quick
just-
bathroom break, maybe. So actually, surprisingly, I never lost a run to a bathroom break during this cutscene. Like I never took too long
All that's happened.
Actually, same.
and had like no
I wanted honor and
like
glory.
there was no gameplay for like 5 seconds after the cutscene, so it never happened to me. I'm
Only
somewhat
once.
surprised at that.
Yeah, I only had problem once where I
Tomb is to be ours.
had to immediately grab my controller and start running instead of like putting my headset on and like just getting comfortable. I just had to.
Right, yeah,
do it.
that can happen, yeah.
What is it?
Nothing.
You're trembling.
I just don't like.
Also, I feel like this cutscene psychologically,
Some way out, yeah?
speedrun psychology-wise, can go two ways. Either you calm down a bit,
When I was small,
or you're the kind of
my mother
person
taught
that's
me a secret
like,
word.
oh, I'm 1 minute ahead. Oh, if I fail after this cutscene, like if I fail an endgame, it's all over. And you like
The magic word
you know, you're thinking into the abyss
I can
step by
tell.
step, and
Childish
it's,
thing I've ever heard
it really
And on
depends on
top-
your
yeah.
speedrun mentality.
And on
How
top
can
of
you
all,
feel?
you lose your rewind ability. I think that's
Also
like
that,
the
yeah. So it
biggest
weighs
part.
it weighs way more, yeah.
of. Farah,
So your mind is like, will I do the Tom trick first try? Will I do the balcony skip that you do? That I go for it. Honestly, those two things are the most stressful.
Yeah, I also remember back when I started running this, I was insanely nervous in endgame. Not even because of any tricks, because there rarely were any, but just because of casual gameplay. You know, like when I really started, it was like when I fail this one right here, I'm dead, and then sometimes I died to it, and just because of overthinking,
Yep.
or maybe because I sucked. I don't know.
Where
It's
are you?
really something you have to learn to handle as well.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's just a very unique situation in this game
Where
where
are you?
a fundamental mechanic that can save you just gets ripped from you for the last
Yep.
10 minutes of the game. So I don't think there's any
Stay here.
other game
Farah?
where that's something you have to face in at the end of the speed run.
If only we could stay
Like,
here.
the problem with me is like
Farah!
you. This is one of those runs that my luck was just good. I
Where
mean,
are
so
you?
my luck is good, RNG is good, my movement
I don't
is,
see
you know,
you.
just good. And now I come to the last part. If I fail it, it
Alright,
means
this is
I
getting
basically lose all the save or
Yeah,
Farah?
everything that I saved until that point.
yeah,
So
I
you
do
you
absolutely
start to
see
feel it, and you
Yeah.
just
Farah?
there's no way you can ignore it and pretend like you don't care.
for sure. Actually, the more extreme version of it is the if you would do the very fastest any percent route
Was it
with the
that magical cat?
last fight skip,
If it was,
where do this ridiculous like
it was a dream
I don't
we
know
both
2
shared.
backflip 3 roll zip into a box of 30 centimeters side length. It's absolutely insane. It's the last, well, the second to last zip of the run you do, and if you fail it,
Oh no.
all of it is over, and you will get it in like 1% of the cases or so.
How
So
much time do you actually save with that
it's
zip?
I think 2 minutes.
Oh, oh my god. I would,
Because you skip long cutscene, the whole fight, long cutscene. Like you directly teleport to Vizier. So the fact that Vin has that in his PB,
wait, he has that in
and
his
it's-
PB.
yeah,
Holy
like the
shit.
run was, I think his run was essentially dead. So he was like, yeah, I'll just go for it, whatever, and he actually got it, and that saved his run.
It's one of those semi-decent runs that, yeah, whatever, I'll just go for it, and then boom, it's almost a world record.
Yeah,
And then in world record, you do everything pitch perfect, but you don't go for the last streak because you know that it's very common that you'll fail it.
yeah.
And yeah, you don't get world record because some guy with semi-decent movement just deal with it.
All right, time for endgame.
Yep.
What's also funny, once you really grind a segment for a segmented run, you will never unsee all the small details in that segment. Of course, I'm not saying anything about it because then I would be constantly talking. That's not the point here, but just saying that's also one experience you will make. Because after, I don't know, 500 attempts or 1000 attempts a segment, you're like, I lost 0.1 second here, 0.2 second here, that could have been better.
That's how I feel about first segment of the run.
Yeah, that's a great example, actually, yeah. Given the top players have probably, I don't even know how many attempts of first segment. Okay. Quiet time.
Focus time.
Very nice. Also very quickly executed.
I
This
have
is
very
really scary to
consistent
do.
setup. Like I tried your setup and it was, no offense, very slow and a lot of times
No,
didn't
it's
work
true.
for me.
Don't copy my setup. It's
And there's actually a thing that I found with this trick is, so you zoom out and you zoom in to like recalibrate your first person view or whatever. And
yeah.
if you do it, so if you're used to doing setup with just zooming out and zooming in twice, then always do it with twice. If you do it 3 times in your run, the alignment that you did with your camera will differ totally compared to what you did with like just zooming out twice. Or
Yeah.
it's hard to really explain. You kind of have to do it by feeling. I mean, you have to see it on example, but it changes.
Yeah, but that's the point. That trick is one of those tricks where if your execution differs slightly, then just don't bother.
Yep.
No damage boost, very nice.
I actually still remember one of the first runs. No, not one of the first runs. I think it was for... No, I actually can't remember, but I got damage boost of the ladder, and Smet was like... I mean, I actually clipped the video because I thought, oh, that's very funny and very lucky.
Yeah.
But Smet was like, oh, you did damage boost, run is the night. And I'm like, no!
Yeah, it's actually the saddest thing. Like you get the good damage boost, where the damage boost saves you. Like you get back to the ladder,
Yeah.
but your run is invalid. Well, unless you die, but then the run is over because you
Run
lose
is
1
over.
minute. So
Yeah.
it's nothing you can do.
Also here with Paul, I still don't know the count, so...
Okay, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh my god.
Oh my.
Oh no.
Also funny here. Okay, whatever. Why not?
Good thing you didn't jump off by accident.
Yeah.
The wrong side. To be fair, that wouldn't have been a run killer, because it probably would have been 30 seconds of time loss. Checkpoint is right before that, but it would be soul crushing.
Basically, I would stop run there. I wouldn't even bother finishing, I think.
Yeah. So there's this classic story about Kata with one of his old any percent runs, but it was probably 2017, where back for the route we had for any percent, he executed flawlessly, gets the last fight, he dies 1 minute in, finishes and still gets world record, and he looks so dead inside. In hindsight, it's really funny, but in that moment, I really felt for him. That was so sad. Just a bit too much bad luck in this fight, and you're done for. Especially if you enter with not full health, as was the case in the zipless and the segmented run, for example, where Razor had to do this with I think 20 HP or so.
I wouldn't dare to last fight with 20 HP. I mean, it's not hard to finish run. I mean, fight. It's hard to get it quick with 20 HP.
Yeah. I mean, you would know about it as a hard mode runner, so.
Yep. And here, obviously, very bad fight.
He didn't even knock anyone down with his sweep. It's a shame.
Also, the coolest thing in last fight is when enemy does the underswap attack and you jump over it. It's just like you feel so cool.
Yeah, it's very satisfying as well.
I think I actually do it in this fight. I'm not sure though. Oh, yeah. Nice. And obviously he interrupts.
Done.
So the nice thing about NMG as a category is that at this point the run is determined, up to plus minus 5 or 10 seconds on Vizier. But in the other categories, the run can still die on Vizier. So for example, in 9% with the zip, if you fail the zip, the run is over. You lose like 40 seconds and
I mean, honestly, you could still fail Mega Freeze execution, I guess.
you could, that's true. But I'm talking about realistic fails here. Like you could also die on Vizier if you fight him, as some people have done already.
I mean, as much as I laugh about it, it's not that hard to die to him. Because sometimes he just doesn't give a fuck.
If you get really unlucky, yeah. No, I think it's actually the most extreme in Zipless with Vizier skip.
Do you disobey?
Like you can have the best run ever, and Vizier skip is really hard to execute. In particular, execute quickly. So you can have the best run ever. You got all the tricks first try, insane RNG, and then the run dies here
Don't tire
because
yourself.
you missed when to jump on the, like you missed his attack in the end to damage boost up. And in comparison to that, the NMG Vizier fight is so relaxing.
Do you actually have Mega Freeze in Zipless for one Vizier?
No. I mean, you don't fight him at all, so...
I mean, but if you did, would you have...
If you did, then no, you don't have Mega Freeze. Assuming you do elevator skip. If you don't do elevator skip, then you have Mega Freeze, I believe. Pretty sure. Yeah, Zipless is a route, either you do no fight skips, then you get Mega Freeze pretty quickly, or you do all the fight skips, and then you don't have it.
Alright.
But I shouldn't talk over the glorious ending here.
Slain by the son of his enemy. Do you have any last words you wish me to communicate to the princess before I kill her?
Any last words before I kill this run? Words of love. There we go.
There we go.
Fantastic. 127.
As long as it's 127.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well deserved world record there.
Thank you very much for duo commentary. I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Hope I wasn't telling too many semi off-topic stories from 20 years ago, of years ago or something.
Let's go. Now to Zipless.
Don't. Just friendly advice, don't do it.
Depends. Like, I'll try few runs, and if I see that I just can't do the RG, I'll be yes, no, I'm done.
Nah, honestly, you should try it out for a bit. It's really cool and satisfying to do, especially if you get better at the tricks and so on.
Yeah, I
But
already did one.
there's also
run.
some charm in Trilogy NMG, so there are a lot of paths to go down from here.
No, Trilogy NMG is not there, because there is worry within NMG, including it, and
Yeah, but that's easy.
I'm not doing worry within.
It's easy. You just have to trust the bird, like you have to have faith in the bird, and then the run is free.
Fate in the bird.
That's all you have to know. Drunken bird to save 20 minutes. And there the video's over as well.